Okay. November 20, paper 1, variant 2. Question 1. Student measures the volumes of 3 liquids using 3 different measuring cylinders. Table shows the volumes recorded by the student. Measuring cylinder 1 and 2 and 3. Which readings are correctly recorded? Which readings are correctly recorded? Volume 1 is 1.2. Okay. Volume 2, okay, so volume 1 is correct. Volume 2 is 2 point, no, it's 2.4. 2.4, not 2.2. So 2.2 is wrong. It's actually 2.4. Okay. Volume 3 is 25. Yes, this is 25, 22, 24, and this is in the center, so it is 25. Yes. 1 and 3. Yes, this would be correct. C. A student driver measures the time taken to complete 4 separate journeys. In which journey does the driver have the greatest average speed? How can I find the average speed distance over time? So simply I need to calculate the distance over time for each of these. 60 divided by 2 is 30, 60 divided by 3 is 20, 120 divided by 3 is 40, and 120 divided by 4 is 30. So it would be C. Yes, it would be C. The graph shows how the speed of an object varies with time. Which row describes the motion between P and Q? I'm sorry, at time P and at time Q. At time P, what was happening to speed? And at time Q, what was happening to the speed? At time P, some of you would say it's at rest. It's actually not at rest. Why? Because this is a speed time graph. Speed time graph. What does it mean? That the speed in this case is constant. Okay, he's not at rest. He is not at rest. Why? Because the speed is constant. He's moving, for example, at a speed of 10 meters per second. So he's moving, but with a constant speed. Moving with a constant speed. What about at time Q? Time Q, what's happening to the speed? It is definitely accelerating, meaning that the speed is increasing. Speed is increasing. A stone has a weight of 4.1 newtons. What is the mass of the stone? What is the mass of the stone? How can I find the mass of the stone? We know weight equals mass times gravitational acceleration, so the mass equals W over G. 4.1 divided by 9.8. It would be around 0.41 kilograms. Okay. Which quantity is weight an example of? Which quantity is weight? Weight is what? Weight is a force. Weight is a force. That's why the unit of the weight is newtons. A rectangular metal block is 20 centimeters long. The cross-sectional area of the block is 25 centimeters squared. The mass of the block is 4,000 grams. What is the density of the metal? Density equals mass over volume. Mass is 4,000 grams divided by the volume. How can I find the volume? The cross-sectional area times the length or times the height. 25 times 20. 4,000 over 25 times 20. This would be, let me calculate it quite quickly. Yes, 8, exactly. 8 grams per centimeter cubed. A force of 4 newtons acts on a beam, as shown. The line of action of force is a distance of x from the pivot. Distance x from the pivot. The moment of this force is, about the pivot is 8 newtons 8 Newton centimeters. What is the distance x? You have the moment, you have the force, and you need to find the distance x. Moment equals force times perpendicular distance. So to find the distance, moment divided by the force, in this case, 8 divided by 4 would be 2 newtons. It's a very simple question. A very simple question. Yeah. Diagram shows a stand. Okay, you have a stand. Which two changes would definitely make the stand more stable? We need the stand to be more stable. Lower the mass. Yes, whenever you lower the mass, what happens? Stability increases. The center of mass, whenever the center of mass is closer to the ground, the stability increases. And what should we do to the base? We should make the base, yes, we have to make the base wider. The base has to be wider. Whenever you increase the area of the base, the stability as well increases. Okay, good. Two wind farms supply electrical energy to consumers in different ways. Wind farm one supplies energy directly, okay? For every 1000 joules of energy extracted, 360 joules is transferred to consumers. This is wind farm one. Wind farm 2 stores electrical energy in batteries and then supplies the energy to the batteries or from the batteries to the consumers. For every 1000 joules extracted from the wind, 270 joules is transferred to consumers as electrical energy. Which statement about the two wind farms is correct? Which of them is more efficient or which of them is more reliable? This is a really interesting question. Which of them is more efficient? Which of them is more reliable? Wind farm 1, is it more reliable or less reliable? Well, to be honest, wind farm 1 would be less reliable. Why would wind farm 1 be less reliable? Because it supplies the energy directly. Okay, it does not store the energy at all. If it had any store of the energy, if it could store the energy, such as in wind farm 2, it would be more reliable. Why? Because, for example, when if the wind, for example, stopped like today, for example, there's no wind. Okay, so would we be able to produce any wind? Any would we be able to produce any electrical energy due to the wind? No. So wind farm one is less reliable, but it is more efficient. Why is it more efficient? Because it produces 360 joules for every 1000 joules. The wind farm two only produces 270 for every 1000 joules. Yes. Question 9 would be B. Work is done. Which physical quantity is transferred? Work done is what? Work done is energy. Work done is energy. Yes. Okay. Question 11. To calculate the power produced by a force, the size of the force must be known. The power, okay, we need the size of the force. What else needs to be known? Power equals what? Work done over time. And work done is what? Work done is force times distance over time. So we have the force. We need the distance and we need the time. We need the distance and we need the time. A. Barometers have been cancelled. This question is cancelled. A man who weighs 540 newtons stands with both feet on the ground. The area of contact between 1 foot and the ground. Between 1 foot and the ground is 0.015 meters squared. What's the pressure exerted on the floor by the man? He's not standing on 1 foot, he's standing on both. Okay, pressure equals force over area. Force is 540 newtons, but the area would be 0.015 times 2. 0.015 times 2. This would give a total area, total pressure of 18,000 newtons. Okay, on a warm day, a driver checks the air pressure in a car, okay, at night. At night, the temperature drops and the pressure decreases. Initially, when he checks the pressure, that was on a warm day. At night, what happens to the temperature? The temperature drops and the pressure decreases. Why does the pressure decrease? Why does the pressure decrease when the temperature drops? What happens to the air molecules? What happens to the kinetic energy of the air molecules? The kinetic energy decreases. So the air molecules move more slowly. Yes, they do move more slowly. They stop moving? No, they don't stop moving. The volume of the air decreases? No, it's not about the volume, or it doesn't increase or decrease. Okay, they move more slowly. Okay, when you have wet clothes and you put them on the line, evaporation occurs. Which type of weather would cause the water to evaporate more quickly? Okay, the most. Which type of weather? A cold day? No, a hot day with no wind? No, a hot day with wind. Yes, evaporation increases with temperature and it increases with the wind. It increases with the temperature and with the wind. Hmm. A bimetallic strip is used to control the temperature of an electrical appliance. Which statement is correct? Okay, which statement is correct? We have before heating and after heating. Metal P contracts more than metal Q on heating, contracts on heating. This is wrong. Okay, either say contracts on cooling or expands on heating. Okay, so metal P expands more than metal Q on heating, or metal Q expands more than metal P on heating. Metal P actually expands more. Why? Because now metal P has a longer, okay, is a bit longer. Initially, for example, if they were both 10 centimeters, okay, both of them were 10 centimeters initially. After heating, they both expanded. But now metal Q is a bit longer. For example, metal P is 12 centimeters, while metal Q is only 11 centimeters. So definitely metal P has expanded more than metal Q on heating. Okay. Thermal capacity has been removed. Okay, thermal capacity has been removed. You're not required to solve this question. Okay, thermal energy is supplied. Okay, thermal energy is supplied. How did we know that metal P has expanded more than metal Q? From the diagram, you can see that metal P has a longer curvature. Okay, metal P is now curved more than metal Q, so metal P has a longer distance. It's slightly longer. It's slightly longer than metal Q. That's why it expanded more than metal Q. That's all it has to do. It has to do with the diagram. That's it. Question 18. Thermal energy is supplied at the same rate, okay, to 4 metal bars. After several minutes, there's a temperature difference between X and Y for each bar. Which statement identifies the bar with the greatest temperature difference? Okay, which statement identifies the bar with the greatest temperature difference between points X and Y? And give the correct reason. Copper, lead, plastic, wood. I guess it wouldn't be plastic or wood. Probably wouldn't be plastic or wood. Copper, because it's a good conductor of thermal energy. Lead, because it's a densest metal. What does density have to do with the conduction? It doesn't have to do anything with the conduction. So definitely it is A, because it's the best conductor of thermal energy. A scientist measures the air temperature at different heights from the floor in a cave. Why does altering the height affect the temperature of the air? Why does temperature increase? Why does the temperature keep on increasing as the height increases? Why does the temperature increase as the height increases? Hmm. The molecules in warm air have less energy. Molecules in cool air are further apart. Warm air is less dense than cool air. Cool air rises above. No, this is wrong. Cool air doesn't rise above. Molecules have less energy. This is wrong. The molecules in cool energy are further apart. Actually, no. Warm air is definitely, yes, less dense. As you increase the temperature, the volume increases, so the density decreases. Warm air rises above. Warm air does rise above, yes. Which row correctly describes light waves? Light waves, are they longitudinal? No, they're transverse. Transverse waves move perpendicular to the direction. Yes, transverse waves move up and down perpendicular to the direction of the wave travel. Waves travel across the surface of water. What is meant by the amplitude of the water? The amplitude, okay? What do I mean by the amplitude? The maximum distance from the mean position. From the mean position. Actually, this is right. Why? A transverse wave, okay, this is the transverse wave. And this line, okay, this center line is called the mean position. Okay, the center line is called the mean position. This line, okay, this is called the mean position. So the distance between the maximum, okay, the distance between the crest and the mean position, or the distance between the trough and the mean position, between the crest and the mean position, between the trough and the mean position. This is the amplitude, okay? And you actually can solve this question by eliminating the other answers. How far the wave travels in every second? No, this is wrong. This is the speed, the number of waves passing. This is the frequency, the distance between the top consecutive waves, the distance between these 2 points. This is the wavelength. So if you actually eliminated the answers, you would have been left with answer A. Okay, you could have easily eliminated B, C, and D, and A would have been the only correct answer. Okay, what is the mean position? Again, this is the line, the center line, which passes through the wave. Okay. Which diagram shows the image? Which diagram shows the image of an object? This is quite easy. The image would definitely be D. This is an easy question. A man sees a stone at the bottom of a pool of water. Which path could be taken by the light from the stone to the man? From the stone to the man. If the light moves directly upwards, no, this would be wrong. Okay. If the light moves with an angle, the angle would increase. Yes, this is right. C didn't bend, so this is wrong. D, what happened to the light? Actually, the angle decreases. Does the angle decrease? Okay. Sorry. Does the angle decrease? No, the angle does not decrease. The angle actually increases. So D is wrong. Okay. The answer is B. The answer is B. White light can be split into, okay, different colors. What's the name of this process? We know different colors is dispersion. Different colors is definitely dispersion. Which type of radiation does the remote controller have? A remote controller definitely has infrared radiation. Remote controller has infrared radiation. Hmm. A police car with a siren is stationary. Pedestrian notices that although the loudness does not change, the pitch varies. Okay, the pitch varies. When the loudness does not change, but the pitch varies. What happens to the amplitude? The loudness has to do with the amplitude, and the pitch has to do with the frequency. So if the loudness remains constant, then the amplitude will also be constant. When the pitch varies, then the frequency is also varying. Quite obvious. A student sets up 4 experiments. Okay, which pairs attract each other? Which pairs attract each other? North and south, yes. North and iron, yes. North and north, no. North and copper, no. So it's only 1 and 2. Copper is not a magnetic material. You cannot say that copper would be attracted to a magnet. Copper will never be attracted to a magnet. Okay. Question 28. Which diagram shows the direction of the compasses? Which direction shows the direction of the compasses? Okay, South Pole. You need to understand that the compass is a magnet. A compass is a small magnet. A compass is a small magnet. The compass head is always a north pole and the tail is a south pole. This is a north pole and this is a south pole. This is a north pole and this is a south pole. For example, in A, the north pole would be attracted to the south pole. Okay, this is correct. The north pole would be attracted to the south pole and the south pole would be attracted to the north pole. Okay, so this is correct. The south is attracted to the north and the north is directed away from the north. So this actually is correct. This is the correct answer. Let's eliminate the other answers. Huh. In B, for example, can the north be attracted to the north? No, cannot be attracted. The C, definitely wrong. It's wrong, and D is wrong. The magnet, the compass cannot be directed directly downwards or upwards when it's in the middle. It has to either look this way or the other way. It cannot look upwards or downwards when it's in the center, such as in C and D. This is definitely 100% wrong. A polythene rod is charged negatively. The rod is now negative. The rod is negative. Which statement explains why the rod has become charged? That's negative, so it gains electrons. Yes, we know. Negative, so it gains electrons. There's a current in a variable resistor when the potential difference is applied. In which situation is the current increased? How can I increase the current? How can I increase the current? Decrease the potential difference and keep the resistance the same. Decrease the potential difference. How can I calculate the current? I equals what? I equals V over R. I equals V over R. Decrease the potential difference and keep the resistance the same. This will actually decrease the current. This will decrease the current. Decrease the potential difference and increase the current. When you decrease the potential difference and you increase the resistance, I'm sorry, what will happen to the current? The current will actually decrease. You actually need to decrease the resistance. You need to decrease the resistance. So keep the potential difference the same and decrease the resistance. Yes. Keep the potential difference the same and decrease the resistance. Or you could have increased the potential difference and decreased the resistance. Okay, but the only right answer in this question would be C, because whenever you decrease the resistance, what happens to the current? The current increases because they are inversely proportional. Okay. Question 31. The circuit shown includes a battery, 3 lamps, and 3 switches. Lamp X is off, but Y and Z are lit. X is off, but Y and Z are lit. Which switches are closed? Y and Z are lit. Which switches must be closed? You need switch S2 and you need switch S3. You do not need S1 at all. S2 and S3, and that's it. Switch S1. If you switch on switch S1, if you close switch S1, what would happen? Lamp X would be switched on. You do not want it on. You want it off. Okay, X has to be off. So S2 and S3 only. Any questions? Okay. Since uses 4 ammeters, which 2 ammeters read the largest current? Which 2 ammeters read the largest current? This is quite easy. P and Q. Why P and Q? Because they're the closest, okay, to the battery. Whenever you have an ammeter which is connected directly to the battery, it would have the largest current. P and Q. An electrical appliance is powered from the main supply. The appliance normally uses a current of 3 amperes, but the current briefly rises to 4 amperes. Okay. And at the instant when the appliance is switched on. Okay, which is not a problem, which is not a problem. The cable to the appliance is designed to currents up to 6 amperes, which fuse should be used. Okay, we must use a fuse of 5 amperes. Why is it only 5 amperes? Can you use a fuse of 3 amperes? No. Why? Because it would blow up instantly. It would blow up each time you switch on the appliance. You cannot use a fuse of 13 amperes. Why? Because the wires, okay, or the cable would melt. After some time, the wires or the cable would melt. A student investigates the electromagnetic induction. He wants to generate a current in the wire. He wants to generate a current in the wire. She moves the north pole quickly towards the coil. Quickly towards the coil. There's a reading on the galvanometer. What can she do to get a greater reading? She now needs a greater reading. Hold the bar magnet stationary? No. If you hold it stationary, there will be no current. Move the bar slowly? No. Use a coil of fewer turns? Nope. Use a stronger bar magnet. Yes. Use a stronger bar magnet. Now I have a transformer. Which pair of coils would be suitable for this transformer? Which pair of coils would be suitable? NP and NS. We need to find NP and NS. We can write down the equation VP over VS equals NP over NS. This is a step-up transformer. This is a step-up transformer. So definitely the number of coils on the secondary has to be greater than the number of coils on the primary. So C and D would be wrong. Why? Because the secondary, okay, is less. This is wrong. What about A and B? Is it A or is it B? Very simply, you can just try each one out. How can you try each one out? 240 over 4,800 equals, is it equal to 50 over 1,000 or is it equal to 240 over 48,000? You can just calculate it on the calculator. 240 divided by 4,800. It should be equal to 50 over 1,000 when you calculate it on your calculator. Okay, this should be the right answer. 50 over 1,000. They would both give the same final answer. It's a matter of a ratio. It's a matter of a ratio. Okay, we have a wire carrying a current and a magnetic field. The wire and the magnet are put in different arrangements. Which arrangement, okay, would the force be out of the page? Initially, the force is what? Out of the page. A force is produced on the wire out of the page. Now the wire is moving out of the page. If I change the arrangements, how can I change the arrangements so that the force would still be out of the page? For the force to remain out of the page, you need to both change the magnetic field direction. It needs to be south and north. And you need to change the direction of the current. So the current needs to be upwards. The current needs to be upwards, and it needs to have a south and north magnetic field. So only in Z. Only in Z. In X, it would be inwards. Why? Because you only change the the current. Because you only change the current, so X would be wrong because it would be into the page. Y would also be into the page. Why? Because you only changed the magnetic field. You only changed the magnetic field. Which statement is correct for the nucleus of any atom? The nucleus of any atom. Nucleus contains electrons. Nucleus contains the same protons of same number of protons and neutrons. No. Nucleus has a total charge of 0. No, the nucleus is very small. Yes, the nucleus is very small compared to the size of an atom. We need the number of protons and neutrons in this nucleus. The number of protons would be 30. Yes, number of protons would be 30. Number of neutrons would be 68 minus 30, which is 38. Three types of radiation, alpha, beta, and gamma radiation. Which statement is correct? Which statement is correct? Alpha is less ionizing? No. Alpha is less ionizing than gamma. Gamma produces no ionization. Beta radiation is more ionizing than gamma radiation. If we want to measure the radiation or measure the ionization, the strongest ionization would be alpha, then beta, then gamma. Okay. So alpha is the strongest, beta is weaker, and gamma is the weakest. But you cannot say that gamma produces no ionization. No, it actually is ionizing, but very, very, very weak ionization. So the only correct answer would be D, because beta is more ionizing than gamma radiation. Okay. Last question. The graph shows the radioactive decay curve of a substance. What is the half-life of the substance? Again, to find the half-life from a graph, what do? We take the initial count rate and we divide it by 2, which would be 500. We draw a horizontal line for 500 and then a vertical line. So the half-life would be 5 years. Yes. Okay.